Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 16 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and celebrating myself. So, yay for day 16, right? 16, that's my birthday day. Yay. Um, it's not the 16th of the month anymore, it's not my birthday, but I did remember to put a fun little flower in my hair today, just for kicks. But I chose to celebrate obedience today. Okay, I rather did not choose to celebrate obedience today. It's the one that kept popping into my head and I forgot something, so we're gonna go for a walk. This is I don't normally do this. So I apologize. I hope that you could still see me and this is sort of entertaining. Maybe not. Anyway, I woke up today wondering what I was gonna focus on, and obedience popped into my head. So now we'll walk backwards. I should just start my video over. That would make more sense. But I'm not doing that, and I'm not going to run over myself. Anyway, you get to meet my crazy side. One of these days I'll celebrate that I'm just crazy because it's fun. I'm not just crazy because it's fun, it's just I am crazy and I just make it fun. So anyway, today is obedience, and I woke up thinking obedience, and then I'm like, I just don't want to do that. I'm not the most I pretend to be rebellious. I'm not really rebellious. I probably am a little more obedient, but I'm not strictly obedient, and I often will argue with I'll argue with God. I'll argue with the Spirit. Be like, I don't want to do that. I will put things off. I will procrastinate. I am not perfect in my obedience. I know that, but I I am pretty. I think I'm pretty obedient. There are some things, rules that I just don't ever break. Or if I have broken, I'm really guilty if I do something that I shouldn't, that I know I shouldn't, sometimes to the extreme on that. So I think obedience is a good thing for me. And then I had a friend over today. I'm going to call her my Brazilian friend. I'm just kind of getting to know her, and I've been helping her study for her citizenship test. And I don't always understand what she's saying. She gets her tenses in the English language mixed up. So she talks in the past tense when when she means future or present tense. So it's kind of it's fun trying to understand each other. So we don't have like deep, long, whatever conversations. But she came over today, and I got to use a little bit of my creative side. I really need to celebrate my creativity. Where I did some more poems. I helped her do one of those name poems. So we took her name because I was showing her the ones that I did, and so she wanted to do one for herself. So I helped her do one for herself. When we got to the letter O, of course, she said obedience. She wanted to do the O for obedience. Like that was the word that popped into her head for the English for O, and I was like, okay, I wouldn't have picked that as a word to describe myself, but I thought it was cool that she did that to describe herself. And then, of course, it kind of popped into my head that I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be celebrating obedience today. So, obedience seems to be a theme that has been coming up all day, which is so random. Because I went to go see my vision board friend so she could print some things out, and she reminded me of this lovely little picture thing that she gave me. And then, oh, that kind of has a weird glare. I'm sorry. Does that get better? Nope, that gets worse. Oh, it doesn't work. I got up just to get that. Anyway, it has a little quote in the corner that says, obedience brings blessings, but obedience with exactness brings miracles. And so of course she asked me to like send her this quote because she forgot what it was. So I have to read this thing on obedience. And I'm like, okay, I'm celebrating obedience today. And I went to my parents' house for dinner tonight. I usually do that on Sundays. Well, sometimes I do that on Sundays. But anyway, I was over there, and I don't even remember what the conversation was. And it wasn't like about me, but something about being obedient. And my mom was mentioning that, and she had this conversation and brought up being obedient. And I was like, oh my gosh, seriously, being obedient is what I need to celebrate today, because it does. Obedience with exactness does provide miracles, and obedience brings blessings. And I I know that that's true because I I was obedient to the prompting to do 100 days of gratitude, and it has changed my perspective immensely. It has helped me to stay off my depression, to get back to where I want to live my life, to see value in myself. So being obedient has brought many blessings. Being obedient to changing from what I wanted to do, my 100 days of marketing, to doing 100 days of today, which is not what I wanted to do at all. But I chose to do that. And because I was obedient to that, I learned a lot about focusing on today. And I saw a lot of the miracles that God has blessed me with, and recognized God's hand in my life, and seen things just work out because I put forth a little bit of effort. And honestly, I feel like I put forth like this little baby worth of effort, baby steps worth of effort, not big, huge efforts. And I get big, huge blessings and big, huge miracles. And it is the realization that if I was willing or had the energy to put forth more effort, that I would get even bigger and more blessings. Also, sometimes I think that scares me because I'm not sure how I would handle more or bigger blessings. So sometimes I hesitate, and I'm not completely obedient or compliant, or I'm like, I'll just do it later. And I know eventually I'll get around to it. I always do. I think that's why God trusts me, and He gives me ideas and puts things into my head, and He put people and things into my life today to remind me that I that I can be obedient, that I am a lot more obedient than I give myself credit for, that I am really not that rebellious as much as I would like to be. I feel too guilty doing that because I am obedient. It is a part of who I am. It is something that I do. I've always tried to please other people. Not that people pleasing is the best quality in the world, but I try to please them by being obedient, by doing the things that would make them happy. And I'm learning to be obedient to the Savior, to God, because God wants me to do things that make me happy, whereas other people don't always care if I'm happy or not. And I get to do things that make me happy. And I get blessings for doing things that make me happy, which is so random. And of course, I can always see the choices that when I choose not to be obedient, or I choose not to do the things that I'm being prompted to do, I know that I'm missing out on some blessing or other. And I don't always think about what I'm missing out on. I'm just thinking, I'm like, I don't have the energy, or I just don't really want to, or I'm just being, rebellious today. Not that I'm super rebellious. I'm just like, okay, I just don't want to work on my writing today, or I just don't feel like going to work today, or I just don't want to clean my house today, whatever. But I mean, those are the little things that I just don't do, that I feel guilty about. And it's like, oh my gosh. But I don't always read my scriptures and meditationals every day, but I try. And every time I do, I feel that I get blessed for that. And I've been doing my videos almost every single day. I kind of missed today. I did a video for it, but I missed today this time around, which a little disappointed about, but I still felt like it's okay because I still made my video. I still made those rules. I feel like, I don't know, like the atonement just makes up the difference for where I fall short for the day that I missed, that it can be made up, and it can be made perfect. So my imperfections they get fixed, they get made up by my being obedient. God provides the difference. He fills in the gaps where I fall short, because He knows I'm not perfect, and I'm not supposed to be perfect. Even my attempts at being obedient are not going to be perfect. But I can be obedient, and I have seen that by being obedient, I do feel more at peace. I do feel more at one with my Savior. I do feel those blessings. I do see those blessings in my life, and I actually do see those miracles in my life. And I don't know that I always attributed it to being obedient, but I just, if I put forth some form of effort to doing what I'm supposed to do, then I get the blessings. And I know that's how it works. But it's like, oh yeah, that effort is being obedient to the commandments, or doing what I'm supposed to be doing is being obedient. And I hadn't really thought about it in that light, or put it in that light, but God made me aware of that today because, like I said, I was like, what am I going to celebrate today? And obedience popped into my head, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And then it just kept popping up today, and I'm like, okay, so apparently I'm celebrating being obedient. And I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm still doing it. I still did it, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'm very grateful for the lessons that I can learn from celebrating being obedient and being reminded that my effort to do the right thing is a form of obedience. And so it's just termed in a different way, because sometimes I think obedience, it's not blind obedience, and it's not like I'm, what's the word I'm thinking of? Can't think of words. Sorry, get all teary-eyed talking about some of this stuff. Whew. But I think sometimes obedience is just like, I can't think of the word. It's not slavery. I think that's the word that keeps popping into my head. But it's like, you're being obedient to someone else, and you just. But it's not mindless obedience. It's choosing to be obedient. It's choosing to follow the commandments. It's choosing to do the right thing because I want the blessings for it, or because I don't want to deal with the consequences of doing the wrong things. I don't want the punishment that goes with doing the wrong things. I prefer the blessings that go with doing the right things. So obedience really is a choice. It's not like that blind obedience or forced obedience, or, this is what you have to do when there are no options, there are no choices, because God always gives us choices. He always gives me choices, and I don't always make the best choices, and I know that. But I am grateful for when I do make those positive choices, and for the blessings and the miracles that come from being obedient. And like I said, I hadn't really considered that obedience before. I just considered it trying to do my best or doing the right thing, and that's being obedient in some form or another. So I think sometimes for me, I have negative connotations, ideas in my head, and I say words like obedient, and it just, for some reason, it's not a negative word. It really isn't, but sometimes it feels like a negative word. It feels like it's controlling. That's what it is. It feels like it's controlling. Like being obedient is being controlled by someone else, and it isn't. But sometimes my brain, it interprets things weird. I don't know where I get these weird ideas from. So I redefine words for me to make sense, because like discipline to me is more like punishment, and it's not like being obedient and taking care of yourself. It's punishment. So I have to use different words. I have to replace them with other words, with similar words that mean similar things, that just don't sound as harsh to me. So obedience is just, to me, it's always just one of those like church words. and I don't really think a whole lot about it. So, but it kept coming up today. And then I was feeling like, well, I'm not very obedient. I'm like rebellious. I don't do obedience with exactness. I'm not good at these things. How is this part of me? How am I supposed to celebrate this? And as I'm doing this video and I'm thinking about all these things, I'm like, yeah, but I don't like doing wrong things, and I feel guilty for doing the wrong thing, or for making the wrong choices. And I'm aware that I have those choices, and sometimes I still don't choose to do the best things, but I try to avoid doing the worst possible things. And my efforts to be obedient, or I guess my efforts to do the right thing, have always brought blessings and miracles in my life. So I always say I choose to keep the commandments because I'm selfish. I want the blessings. So I'm like, if I do this, then I get the reward. I get the blessings, and that's what I want. I want the reward. So that's why I do it. That's why I go to church. That's why I pay my tithing. That's why I do these videos, right? Because I want the blessings. I hadn't really looked at my doing these things as being obedient. That isn't the word that I attached to it, but in doing this video and thinking about it today, that it really is what I've been doing. I've been being obedient to that still small voice. I've been obedient to the laws of the land. I've done my best to be obedient to the laws of God, and I'm not perfect in any or all of it. I've made mistakes. I've broken rules. Not big, huge rules, nothing like drastically bad. But I also feel like overly guilty for any minor misunderstanding or error that I make. I blow it up into this big, huge, ginormous thing, like I made the worst mistake in the world and I'm an epic failure. My life is over. So how could I possibly be obedient if I keep screwing up so But I'm not supposed to be perfect. I'm just supposed to try and put forth an effort and do my best. And I do that. I try a lot. I'm very trying, which I have to like block out my biological mother's comment that I'm a very trying person. Every time I would say I'm trying, that I'm trying to do something, I'm trying to get it right, I'm trying to figure this out. All of which are efforts that God blesses me for. They're all attempts to be obedient, and I always get blessed for those efforts. But my biological mother would turn the sarcasm on, and she would turn it into I'm being a very trying person. And so I have a really hard time with the word trying, because I'm trying is in putting forth an effort, and she puts it as trying like I'm trying on other people's patience, and I'm an annoying person and who would want to be around me. That was that was that was the response I always got for my failed attempts or my feeble efforts growing up. And I don't know that they were feeble, failed maybe, but mistakes possibly. But I think God blessed me a lot more, and He blesses me a lot more for my efforts. And He sees my efforts, and He sees it as an act of obedience and of love and loyalty. And He blesses me for that. And He sends miracles into my life and reminds me that He loves me, that He's aware of me, and that I am a good person, that I am obedient, apparently, and that this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. This is a positive thing, and that I can just let go of the sarcasm and the other whatever, because, or the negative connotations to things, because those aren't real, and I don't need those things in my life. I can let go of those, and I can see the positive, and I can see the blessings. And maybe that's another reason for celebrating all of these things in my life, is to be reminded of the positive, to put things back in their proper perspective instead of the skewed version or ideas that I have in my brain. Like I said, I have very distorted definitions of things. So this is straightening that out and putting it back in its proper order, I think, which I am grateful for. So lots more things for me to celebrate and learn, because this is only day 16. So, boy, did not think I was going to get emotional about obedience, but there you go. And I'm trying not to apologize for it, because I'm trying to remember that emotions are a normal part of life, and it's a good thing for me to have them, and that I should be willing to express them and share them whenever they come up, for whatever reason they come up. So, not trying to hide things. Hoi. Not easy for me. And I know obedience isn't always easy. And there are still things that I struggle with when it comes to being obedient or changing in my life. But I am grateful for the things that I have been obedient in, and for the blessings that have come to me because of that. And the awareness of things that I can change or do better. And also for the little miracles, for the things that I get right on a regular basis. So I'm like, yay for the stuff that I get right. And yay for the opportunities to continue to grow and to change and to learn new things, to put things back in their proper perspective, in the right alignment, instead of the distorted, dysfunctional reality that I have in my brain somehow. So I may never get it all straightened out, but I may learn how to use other words, like putting forth effort instead of obedience. I'm like, I'm putting forth effort. Instead of trying, I'm making an effort. Because it gets rid of all of that sarcasm. It gets rid of all of that control and negative connotations to anything. I'm just making an effort. But my efforts are a form of obedience that results in blessings and miracles, and I am grateful for that, and I am grateful for the opportunity to celebrate being obedient and to learn a different side of obedience, and to see that that is a part of who I am, that I hadn't really recognized or celebrated or considered to be a positive trait in my life. So I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do that and to see that as a positive thing in myself and a blessing, maybe even a gift from God. So that makes me feel very blessed, emotional, a little bit overwhelmed. The outpouring of love, and not just from God, but like learning to love myself through doing all of this, celebrating myself and seeing myself more clearly and seeing things as a positive and as a gift, and that I'm doing really good at something that for some reason I thought I wasn't good at, or that I thought I don't have anything to celebrate because I I try to tell myself I'm rebellious, and I'm really not. I guess I just wanted to be rebellious because rebellion always got the attention, but it always got the negative attention that I didn't want. So it's kind of trapped somehow because I didn't get any attention for being obedient or for being good, and I hated that. But I'm learning I can give that attention from myself. I can give that attention to myself. I can get that attention from God. I can get that attention from other people, just not from my family of origin. And that's okay. And I mean, and sometimes I can from my siblings, just not from my biological parents, and that's okay. I'm still learning. I am still a work in progress. I still make mistakes. I will still make mistakes. I am meant to be a work in progress, but as long as I put forth that effort, God will continue to give me the blessings. So I may use the word effort instead of trying, or the word effort instead of being obedient, but it all equals out to the same thing, which is kind of cool to learn, to figure out that just because I use a different word, I'm still doing it, and it's still a good thing. It's a positive thing, and I can love myself for that, and I can see that good in myself, and it starts to dispel the negative idea or ideas in my brain that I'm not, the old stinking thinking that says that I'm not good enough, or that I'm a bad person, or that if people really got to know me, they wouldn't like me. Because the more I get to know me, the more things I like about me, the more things that I have to celebrate about me. And it just, I think it surprises me, because I don't know that I've ever taken the time to get to know myself on this kind of a level, or ever wanted to celebrate myself before. So, and this is just another way for God to teach me the way that He sees me, and to feel of His love, to feel that worthiness, and it helps me to overcome the depression, to feel like I have worth and value, and to be happy, and to want to just go about celebrating life and myself and all of the wonderful people that come into my life that have helped me, that have blessed my life and helped me be who I am, even the ones that, drove me crazy, did not nice things. I still had to learn and grow from all of that. A lot to overcome, but it's helped me to be stronger, I think, more courageous. I celebrated being courageous a few days ago, so, and this is why, because I choose to be obedient, and it does require a lot of courage sometimes. So a lot of these things that I'm celebrating kind of overlap a little bit, which is really kind of cool too. Just kind of cool getting to know myself, seeing myself the way that God sees me, maybe seeing myself the way that other people see me, and that I've always said, okay, they're just crazy because that's not me. And again, it's that idea that I mentioned a few days ago, I think, where I realized that it wasn't that other people don't know me, it's that I don't know myself, that I don't see myself with the value that they see. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be celebrating myself and to learning all of these different things that I can celebrate about myself. So yay for me, yay for being obedient, and just grateful for the people and the opportunities that popped up into my life today that just kept bringing obedience to the forefront of my mind. So I had to figure out how to celebrate that and how that really is a part of who I am. And that's really kind of cool to me. So I'm very grateful for that. That is my celebration for today. If you have something you're celebrating about yourself, I would love to hear about it. So you can comment or share, whatever. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have fun celebrating and getting to know yourself. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe do some writing.